Hey, how's it going? Jason here. So this morning I'm back at the nursery, and today we're going to start from scratch. We'll see if we can find some nursery material to create the new textbook tree. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is look through this collection of junipers. So let's walk over to these trees right here. And over here I've got some nanas on the floor. Right there I've got some nanas. Then this is my San Jose juniper collection over here of raw material. They look like ground cover right now. And then here I've got my prostrata junipers, a little bit smaller ones here, going to some older ones over here. So if you guys remember from my earlier videos, we're always looking for root-based taper movement. So that's a good place to start when you're looking for a nursery material. Look for those three things. That usually is going to give you a good foundation for a tree. It might not give you the branch structure you're looking for immediately, but if you have those three qualities, or at least maybe two of the three, or even one of the three, at least you're on the way to starting a pretty good tree. All right, so let's take a look at this one right here. See, I've got these trees. What you've got to do is you've got to get really low in here and take a look at the root base. So you can see that's a pretty nice root base right there. That's the size of my hand. And you can see that's pretty big right there. And you can see the movement in the tree right there. It goes through. You're going to have to move foliage out of the way to actually see what's going on. You can see the movement going up like that. And then you can see the taper's not too bad. It's thicker right there. It gets a little bit thinner near the top. You can see that there's a spider right there as well. But this is how you would pick material. And you can tell that this tree already has a good branch structure. You can see that's going all the way out here. It's coming out to here. And that's a good indication already that this tree has been worked on, and it has. I can tell that the branches have been wired right there. So this isn't going to be a good textbook tree because this one has already been styled by me at some point. And then I put it over here just to get some thickness in the trunk. So we're going to leave this aside. We're not going to work on that one. Now let's come over here and take a look at another one. Okay, so now we're getting closer to some true raw material. Now here you can see is just a bunch of dead growth inside. That's because the sun hasn't been going in. And you can see that there's about almost about 10 branches coming off the main trunk right there, which is right there. There's about 10 branches coming off of it. So this is really true raw material. This one would need to be clipped back. We'd actually get rid of all the branches we don't want just to start a structure and start from scratch and start to get these little buds right here. For this video, we're going to start with something a little simpler than this one, but maybe we'll come back to this one later. Okay, now this one over here is a neat one. They always just look like landscape trees from far away, but that's kind of exactly what they are. So if we take a look in here, the root base is pretty nice. It's got some interesting movement. Basically goes around like that, comes around like this, comes up to here. So it's got some decent branches already. But this tree was actually clipped back a while ago by me. So this is all new branches right here. All this right here, all this right here. These are all new branches that grew in after I did a big cut. Basically, I cut a bunch of branches off just like that previous tree we were looking at, where it had a whole bunch of branches coming off of the trunk. And I isolated it to just a few. So in this case, I've got a few, and then from there I developed all this inside growth. See, there's still some in there. I've developed all this inside growth so that this could actually be styled. So this would actually not be a completely raw tree you'd find at a nursery. This is kind of in the middle step, right sort of in between the one we just saw before and then this one right here that's already been styled. So now we're walking over to the other part of my nursery where I have definitely some more junipers that are completely from scratch. They haven't been worked on at all. So we're gonna take a look at those and see if we can pick one. And we're talking about this bed of junipers right here. We're gonna see if we can find a decent one, at least something that'll be good in the future. So the first three things we're gonna think about is root-based taper and movement, and then we're gonna see if we can find a good tree. And just off the start, you can see I've got this tree here. The trunk is, it's okay. It doesn't have great movement. That one doesn't have good movement either. Basically it comes up and then goes straight that way. A little bit of movement here, but if we're looking for a textbook tree, I'm looking for something that's got decent movement all the way up to the top where we can use it or we can bend it. But preferably for this example, I'd just like to find one that has it already. So this can actually be a pretty daunting task. It's definitely not easy to find a tree that's got those three qualities or even the two of the three qualities. So this tree here has some decent movement. It's not bad. It's not great either. So I didn't like that set over there, so I decided to go back to the main section where I had the younger prostratas, and I started sifting through it. And this is sort of where you can tell the bonsai person in the nursery, bending down, rummaging through all the foliage, looking at the trunk sizes, looking at the base. Let me know if this is you in the comments. All right, so I picked two trees at the nursery, and they're already on my workbench over here. I've got a prostrata over here, and I've got a San Jose over here. So let's take a look at them, and you guys can help me decide which one will turn into the textbook tree. Okay, let's take a look at the San Jose first. So I haven't cleaned up anything on this. I haven't done any wire. I haven't even taken the shears to it. I haven't cleaned up any of the dead foliage on the inside. I haven't done anything. But you can take a look at this. It's got a decent base. So if we looked at the three things, root, base, taper, movement, decent base. We've got not really the best taper, and we've got some movement in the trunk, as you can see right there, right? Okay, and then we haven't chosen the front yet. So if we look on this side, maybe if we clean this up, we'll see something there. It's a little bit more movement on this side right here, but there's a little bit more movement on this side. It goes up and back that way. So that's not a bad option. Okay, that's the San Jose. All right, so now we have the Prostrata, so we can decide if we like this one more. Okay, we've got the root base. It's pretty decent. There's some movement, as you can see, a little bit of movement right there. I tilt it up a little bit, you can see a little bit more, but since it's so messy, there's only so much you can see for now. And then, there's taper. Flipped over to the other side. You guys can see the movement a little bit better on this side, but not really. I mean, this is really how raw material starts out. It just looks like a big landscape shrub. So this is starting from scratch. So we can decide which one. You guys can help me decide which one you guys prefer. So we can go with the San Jose, or we can go with this Prostrata right here. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how to hunt for bonsai material next time you're at a nursery. You're really going to come out with just a shrub, but that's just how you get started. That's how we started with the original textbook tree. So hopefully we'll figure out which tree to go with, and then we'll style it from there.